This is the 2025 Mazda 3 Hatchback. It's fully loaded with a turbocharged 4-cylinder and all-wheel drive, and I used it to lead one of our drive groups at our Midwest Grocery Run Road Rally. I also told Mazda I'd review it as part of my 400 miles of back roads and highway driving, so without further ado, let's just talk about how this thing drives. So, the Mazda 3 on back roads. You know, I hadn't driven one of these in anger before. I'd driven a few of them and found them plenty nice. They're not like the Mazdaspeeds of days gone by. They're certainly not playful like the older cars were, but they are quite capable, and I really got a whole day of that yesterday with almost 200 miles of just like hard back roads driving. And keeping in mind, I was leading our fastest group that had new 911s, old 911s, GR86s, GTIs, that sort of hardware, and I needed to set a good pace for them. And this car really punched up yesterday. I was really pleased with it. So a couple things I don't love, but generally a nice experience. So let's just dive into it. So first things first, the engine is something that has been around. It's a 2.5 turbo 4. It's very diesel-y in how it makes its power and torque. So it's like 250 horsepower and 320 pound-feet of torque. And that party is completely over by 5,000 RPM. It's a small turbo. It makes it really lovely around town, and like 0 to 60, 65 feels pretty good. When you get faster than that, if you're on the highway, you're pulling out to pass or something, it's still got power and torque, but there's less of it at that point. It feels a little tapped out. The turbo can do less when you start revving it higher, and especially for a passing maneuver or like high RPM out of a corner, there's not really a point in revving it very high, but it's still quick and punchy. You just have to shift it differently. The automatic, left to its own devices, will shift around 5,000. The tach goes to 8. The red line is indicated at 6,500. There's no point. It's not going to do it. But whether you shift it manually or leave it in drive, it is really kind of happy to, do its own thing at lower RPMs. I left the car in manual mode for the most part. It listens to you. It is nice in that regard. The paddles are not super snappy for responsiveness, but they're not slow either. They were fine. I was not shifting early to get what I wanted when I wanted it. I just did it as I needed a new gear. And this being a 6-speed, not an 8-speed or 10 or wherever we are now with a lot of cars, actually felt pretty good. I like the longer gears because on a back road, it's just more flexible. You can leave it in third for a big segment of road, and that's fine, versus, oh, I need 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, like, there's no point in doing that. Just leave it in third and let it do its thing. The gears are long. So that was kind of nice. And to that end, going into corners and having those gears be longer and in manual mode, it was really nice to just give mild throttle inputs and have the car rotate on command. This is actually, I knew it was a capable chassis. I did not really think it was a playful chassis per se, and it is actually playful. It's on a Bridgestone Turanza tire, which is a all-season touring tire. It's not a grippy tire, and it felt really good diving into a corner and getting on the brakes to, trail brake a little bit, make the car want to rotate. You get the nose start to turn, and then just mild throttle, and the whole car kind of takes a set and will rotate. And that was very cool to feel. That is still coming from like old Mazda DNA, where they still value this art of driving. Unlike their bigger SUVs I've driven, where I feel like they're oversprung to get that same effect of being very rotatey and turny, this is actually quite soft. It is the opposite of oversprung. In fact, it might be a little soft for my preference, and there's no adaptive suspension or anything. It's just fixed rate dampers and springs and all that. But it's still capable. It's just going to move around. The body moves around a lot. And my friends that were right behind me in a GR86, which does not move hardly at all, they said the car was moving quite a bit, but I was doing just fine, setting a good pace for them. So not a bad thing at all. The steering is fine. I wouldn't say it's super communicative, but it's not dead. It's just not, there's not a lot of feedback in the wheel. There is a sport mode here. It does get heavier in sport mode, but you know where the tires are, but I would love a little feedback in the wheel. But the chassis, otherwise, it's still predictable, it's still easy enough. And then when it comes time to slow the whole party down, that's where I don't love the 3 quite so much. The brake pedal has plenty of bite when you get into it, and the car stops just fine. It's got enough stopping power, but the initial feel when you get into the pedal is just not there. It's really kind of squishy. I don't think it has a lot of initial bite to the pad, and what that means is you don't feel super confident when you're initially going for it. Once you get into it more, then sure, it will slow down and there's plenty of brakes, but I don't love the pedal feel. That's my single biggest complaint with this whole car. Other than that, it's been a lovely partner. It is more than capable on the back roads. It is actually quite playful. I found it to be a pretty endearing partner. I wish the engine was a little more revvy. That adds to the playfulness, but there's a lot of power and torque, and as a basic, around town, daily use kind of engine, they've got the power and torque in a more usable part of the RPMs. So in that regard, they know what they're doing. Otherwise, this has been a nice car to drive. Also just, on the highway, getting to and from where the event was. It's relatively quiet for this class of car. It's pretty nice in here for this class of car. I still think it punches up, even though this is not a brand new design at this point. I think it's competitive. There's plenty of features. Some people hate on the infotainment system. I actually like it, having the dial with the screen way out in front of me, and it's not a huge screen. I think this setup is all very good. And it's just a nice little road tripper. I put a lot of miles on it. Getting out here, went from Chicago to Wisconsin in it, and now going back, and it's entirely pleasant. It's generally a lovely place to put a lot of miles on a car. The seats are comfortable enough, although this kind of inset here with the bolstering is pushing me forward just a touch, and it works for my body type. It feels like aggressive bolstering to me, despite the seats not being very aggressive. But if you're any bigger than me, you may not find that very comfortable. So as with everything, go give it a test sit before you buy. But beyond that, good visibility out the front. The dash I think is low. I like the infotainment being low and out of the way, and not a huge screen. And they've still got the dial to control this one, which I don't mind. I know the newer Mazdas are going to be touchscreen plus dial or whatever they're doing now. This has been a fine setup. So totally happy with all that. Visibility out the rear because of that giant C-pillar, it's been a sort of problem since these cars were new. I don't think it's actually that bad. The mirrors give you good visibility as well. If you adjust them properly, you don't really have blind spots in any car. And yeah, it's not all bad. And we make sacrifices for the sake of style, and this is a stylish car still. So I like the drivetrain. The all-wheel drive is helpful. I don't know if it's required. It certainly helped a little bit on some of our driving as far as getting me out of corners, but day to day, I think the front wheel drive cars might actually feel more playful in some regards. And of course, you can still buy this car with a manual. You just cannot buy it with a turbo, and you cannot buy it with all-wheel drive. So if you want that, you can get kind of a mid-trim equipped model with the stick shift and have your fun and save the manuals. So at least they're giving you the option. But that is it for this review of the 2025 Mazda 3 Hatch. Thank you as always for coming along. To everyone who came to the Midwest Grocery Run, thank you for being here and being a part of the event. We will have more of these coming up this year and into next, of course, on top of our track cross coming up at Willow Springs in California. And we'd hope to see all of you and we hope to see some or all of you for any and all of those. Please head to outmotorsports.com. We've got a whole event calendar over there and a whole online community that would love to be your new best friends. And we are on all the other social platforms, well, some of them. So follow us there, like, share, comment, subscribe right here, and stay safe, be well. See you for the next one.